guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, which was supposed to be a monthly thing, but I haven't done it for 2 months, so we're just gonna go with the third blind date with my bookshelves. It has been a minute. I don't think I've posted one of these since December, maybe? I'm not 100% sure, but it's time. So once again, I put the word out on Twitter, and a bunch of my helpful Twitter friends just commented with a couple of coordinates, 5 to be specific, of places on my bookshelves that they would like me to pull my books from. So if you're new here, my blind date with my bookshelves, can we call it a series if I've only done 3 of them? We're gonna call it a series because it's my channel and I can do that. My blind date with my bookshelf series, if you're not familiar, is where I get random coordinates, usually from most of the time my Twitter followers, that leads me to pull 5 random books on my bookshelf, and I sit here and I talk about them with you guys, whether I have read them or not. If I have read them, I talk to you about them and tell you why I liked them or if I didn't like them. If I haven't read them, I tell you why that has not happened, or if I plan to, or if it is moving up my TBR, or if I just forgot that it existed and this is reminding me that I do need to get around to it eventually. I like to do this because, like I said, it reminds me of books that I own that I haven't quite prioritized the way that I usually think I should, and it also allows me to share with you guys the books that I own that I also know and love. So without any further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. I am going to add a little disclaimer that I actually got more than 5 coordinates. I'm not going to use, I think I got 8 of them. I'm not going to use all 8 of them, so I'm just kind of going to randomly pick from the coordinates that were given. So if you gave me coordinates in my Twitter question, I apologize if yours is not the one that I use. I'm just totally picking them at random. So the first set of coordinates is 3 and 25. First set of coordinates led me to Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. I ended up getting this, I think, at Half Price Books, and it is the signed edition. So I'm not going to lie, I don't know too much about this other than that Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin and Becca from Becca and the Books really did not like it. This follows 2 brothers, I believe their names are Emil and Brighton, and I think that this is a bit of an urban fantasy. I know that they discover that they have powers. One of them might have learned that he has more powers than the other, and they are asked to become a part of an ancient order of people called the Spellwalkers, and that is the extent of my knowledge on this. Mostly, I'm not going to lie to you, this was a cover buy, and it sounded really, really good. I'm holding out on making an opinion. I usually do trust most of the things that Becca and Gavin say, but I am going to give this a try for myself and see how I feel about it. I've never read anything by Adam Silvera before, none of his contemporary or his fantasy. This might be his only fantasy. The very first coordinates led me to Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera, and this is one of the ones that I have not read, but I'm hoping to get to at some point in the future. The next set of coordinates is 4 and 22. Those coordinates led me to The Grey Wolf Throne by Cinda Williams Chima. This is the 3rd book in the 7 Realms series, and if you are new here, this is one of my all-time favorite young adult fantasy series that I've ever read. I'm not going to talk to you about what specifically happens in the 3rd book because that's very spoilery, but the 1st book follows Han, who is a street thief. I think that he leads a gang of thieves, and he has these cuffs on his arm that he's never been able to get rid of. He can't take them off, he doesn't know what they do, they've been there his entire life. You're also following Risa, who is a princess to the throne, and she's dealing with a lot of responsibility and self-identity crisis and all of this other stuff. So you're following the 2 of them as they go about their journey where they inevitably meet. There's a magical academy, there is a romance, there is everything that you could possibly want. There is an evil, dark character from another country. It's just, it's so good. I really can't describe enough of this, but if you haven't picked it up yet, definitely give it a shot. The 7 Realms series is fantastic. I have not finished the spin-off, kind of spin-off series, which is the Shattered Realm series, which takes place after this one. I am working my way very slowly through that. I'm only halfway through, but I am tentatively enjoying that as well. Not as much as I enjoyed this first series, which will always, always, always be in a special place in my heart. The next set of coordinates is 5 and 86. Those coordinates led me to Dragon Weather, which is by Lawrence Watt Evans. I have read this, but I haven't read it in well over a decade, so I need to refresh myself on the plot. Give me one second. In Dragon Weather, you follow Arlian, whose entire village was destroyed by dragons. It turns out in this, dragons are not exactly the friendliest of creatures, and they come about every so often with a certain season. When Dragon Weather comes, it gets hot, it gets humid, and the dragons come as well, and apparently they come bearing all sorts of destruction and bad thoughts, I don't know. But they ended up destroying Arlian's entire village, including all of his family, and he is just trying to figure out how to save the world, essentially. There's a lot of magic. I don't remember the plot of this very well. It's definitely going to warrant a reread, but I remember really enjoying this and its sequel when I read them. I must have been in middle school, I think, when I read these. I think that it's a 3-book series. I think they're called, what are they called? The Obsidian Chronicles? I think they're called the Obsidian Chronicles. But yes, I did really enjoy these when I read them. I'm going to have to reread them to see if they still hold up. I thoroughly enjoyed this when I read it at the time. The next set of coordinates is 4 and 48. For these coordinates, I'm here to talk to you about Sarah J. Maas. If you are new in the bookish community, Sarah J. Maas is a rather big name. That set of coordinates led me to Heir of Fire, which is book 3 in the Throne of Glass series. Throne of Glass follows a world-renowned assassin by the name of Selena Sardothian. So in the first book, I'm obviously not going to get into book 3 because there are lots of spoilers, but in the first book, Selena is working in I think it's a mine, the pits? No, wait, that's Mistborn. She's like a slave or a prisoner or something, and she is rescued, I guess, kind of, to participate in a competition that is full of a ton of other assassins to compete for the honor of being the king's assassin. I said assassin a lot. It's fine. Anyway, so she competes in this competition, but a lot of other things about this world and her past come to light. There are many books in this series. Throne of Glass, the first one, is not the best. For me, Heir of Fire is where it really started to get good and really picked up. Throne of Glass did end up becoming one of my favorite series by Sarah J. Maas. I don't say that it overtook ACOTAR, but it is pretty good. I did enjoy it for, you know, what it is, which is not the most complex of epic high fantasies, but it was an entertaining read, mostly from beginning to end. So that is Heir of Fire. I have read it and I enjoyed it thoroughly. My next set of coordinates is 2 and 54. Those coordinates led me to one of my favorite sci-fi authors of all time, which is Michael Crichton. I think that this might be one of his lesser known books. It is called Dragon Teeth, and this is more of a historical fiction than his traditional sci-fi stuff. I don't believe that there's actually really any sci-fi elements to this at all, but it is a very thoroughly researched history of kind of like the archaeology of finding dinosaur bones in the United States. I don't really know how rooted in accuracy this is, but you do follow a character who is I believe he's an archaeology student, and they are going on an expedition to the Wild West to find dragon bones, yeah, right now, to find dinosaur bones and to dig them up. I don't know if the archaeological teachers that he has are actual figures in history. I guess I could have easily looked that up, but I didn't. I enjoyed the ride. They have an intense feud, these two teachers do, and you spend a lot of it dealing with the drama, and there's theft of dinosaur fossils and all of that stuff. It was a good time. I definitely don't think that I enjoyed it quite as much as I enjoyed his other sci-fi books. Jurassic Park and The Lost World are two of my all-time favorite Michael Crichton novels, as well as Timeline and Airframe, although I don't think that's sci-fi either. But Michael Crichton is definitely one of my top authors. I was deeply, deeply sad when he passed away, and when this came out shortly after his death, I was really excited for any more stories that he possibly could have told, which is probably why I loved this as much as I did. It is pretty much just at its root a historical fiction about dinosaur fossils, and that was pretty cool and it was interesting, and if any of it was accurate, then I guess I learned a lot. Alright guys, that is it for my blind date with my bookshelves. All of these books will be linked down below as per usual. I don't usually say that, but I'm gonna start saying that now, I guess. So all of these books will be linked down below in the description. I hope you enjoyed my blind date with my bookshelves this month, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!